Hey everybody, John here from Dover International Speedway, or the virtual Dover International
Alright,
Speedway,
man, we're going
as
green
we are
next
going to
time right.
drive
Alright, man,
100
line up on
laps
the
and
outside road now.
100
Pit road
miles
is closed.
on this
Catch the
1 mile,
21
not
car.
short track, not intermediate track, but oval track. A lot of people call Dover a short track, and I would very much disagree with you. This thing behaves like an intermediate track. Aero is a big deal here. And I'm not talking about in iRacing as much as I am in real life. And I think that's one of the problems with this track, and not problems with the track. I think it's one of the reasons the track gets a bad rap. But either way, I'm rolling off in about 8th position. Not my best qualifying effort. This track is, and I say this about everything,
Get
this
ready.
track is hard. But here we come down to the green flag.
Cars in.
Did not get a good restart, but that was sort of on purpose.
Green, green, green.
I know that sounds
You got
stupid.
the
And what?
position when the yellow flag came out.
That does. Oh my. Seriously? Let the pace car by. Hooray. So, either way, I let everybody by. So, anyway, I'm just gonna drive. I'm just gonna drive now. All right. So you can hear past me. It's slightly frustrated with the spotter, which understandably so. But either way, what I was talking about was Dover is considered by a lot of people to be a short track, and it's really not. And I think one of the reasons people get disappointed with it is people get excited that they're coming to a short track and they think, hey, we've got a short track this weekend at Dover, we're going to get some short track wheel-to-wheel bumping and banging racing, and they don't get it. And Dover's not going to produce that because it's just not that kind of track. You bend your front end at all at this track, and it's really going to make a big difference to how your car's handling. So it's more like a mini Charlotte than it is a big Bristol, if that makes any sense, and it probably doesn't. But basically what I'm trying to say is I've heard a lot of people talk bad about Dover and say, oh, we didn't get the kind of racing we thought we were going to get. Well, that's because it's not the kind of track you're calling it. It's not a short track. It's an intermediate, and not really. I like it because it's different. It's a mile long, but all the other mile tracks we have, Phoenix and Loudon, they're all very flat. This is a high bank, concrete racetrack. Very cool, very different. I love it. I thought it produced some great racing this weekend, particularly today. But anyway, goals for this race. Didn't qualify great. Really just hoping to survive the thing. Oh, and here we go. Here's the first wreck.
Alright, man, caution is out. Caution is out. Line up single file. Pit road is closed.
Barely missed the 5 there.
You're the one that hit the friggin' wall.
You are the one that hit the friggin' wall.
21 car by.
So I'm going to shoot you back to past me here, so I will see you guys in a little bit.
Catch the 13 car.
Yeah. I got to catch a friggin' 13 car. Kind of looks like the track's already started rubber in. I don't know if that's a... It looks darker. I don't know, maybe I'm blind. I don't know. Maybe I'm just wanting to see it. It'd be cool, though, if it... I really think it is. I think it's showing where the groove is. We're only like 10 laps into this thing.
Catch the hey car.
Everybody came in, so we're going to come in. And where is my pit stall? Now, the first pit stop always is... If you don't qualify right in the front, it's... There he is. Alright, so I'm going to grab 4 tires, because why not? Judging from the Xfinity race today, I don't think tires should matter that much, but judging from my practice runs here, they're gonna in iRacing. So we're gonna take 4. here we go. And I'll probably show you a replay, and future me can tell you what happened.
Line up single file.
Alright, so here we go. The Ford gets into the wall, bounces it off the wall, and just comes down into the 10. And the 10 could have given a little more room, sure, but in the end, that's probably the Ford's fault. But Dover's so narrow, it's... Oh, that was a hard hit. Dover's so narrow, that stuff kind of happens here. Tough to get away from the other cars on this track.
All right, man. The pace car is in.
So we're going to restart in third position. And again, my spotter is telling me all kinds of horrible information about how I need to let the pace car by, and must be, I think he's been drinking. Don't hold it against him, he's got a problem.
My bad, 22, I'm sorry.
Yeah, this track is very, very difficult. I like the short tracks. I really like the Richmonds and Bristols, and Dover's fun too because they're a lot tougher than they look. There's a lot more to them than you think there would be. This is a symmetrical oval, just like Bristol. It's concrete, just like Bristol. And just like Bristol, there are two very distinct corners. There's two distinct entries and exits. They're completely different, even though it's the same thing. If you cut the track in half, it's the same thing. 1 and 2, you can get upset into 1 real easy, but not out of 1. And you can go really hard into 3 and 4. However, the big problem area for this track is right here, where you're coming out of 4. It's very, very easy to lose it. And then again, right here, coming into 1. I'm not sure why that is. You can hold it lower in 1 and 2 than you do in 3 and 4. And even when you turn the preferred line, or the training line on in the options menu, it shows you a different line through these two corners. And this dude is fast.
All clear, all clear.
This number 9 guy, he's a class above everybody else. But coming into 1 and 2, it's very, very easy to upset the car. So you can see I'm entering low, and I'm kind of trying to enter straight and do my turn actually in the corner, and use kind of the I don't know how to put it. You see, I'm already entering right here, entering straight, and there's a caution, so never mind. I think it's called diamonding the corner, but I'm not positive that's the term, so we won't use it. But essentially, I'm trying to enter the corner in a straight line, drift up in the corner, do my turn as I roll the center, and then exit again, come back down to the low side. And that seemed to work pretty well for 1 and 2, keeping it stable on entry. And exit on 1 and 2 was no problem. Exit on 4, on the other hand, is tricky, and I don't think I'm the only one who had a problem with that. So I'm going to throw you back to old me to see about this pit decision. So if everybody pits, I'm going to pit. Track position would be nice, but if they all come in, it looks like they're coming in. I'm not going to stay out. Yep. We're going to come in. We're going to come in.
It's the pace car.
It's hard to pass here, but I just think with the way we be getting real short runs, I don't want to be the guy on old tires. I don't know if that's a wave around that just went by. Oh well, too late. Too late. Doesn't matter. We're okay. Looks like everybody came in. I think everybody came in. There's my dude, and my imaginary or virtual and invisible pit crew is going to get to work and change my tires. That guy looks like he's having a worse day than me. Man, he had a fast stop. Did he take 2?
Line up single file.
So here we go, coming off of 4. Again, I said this is a very tricky corner. The 14 loses it, clips the 13, and really unfortunate for the 13 and whatever that car was down on the inside.
Get ready.
So what happens at Dover? I mean, it's so narrow you can't get away from the wrecks. I came out in 4th, gonna restart here behind this number 2 car. Who's pretty good. I've been in a couple of races with him. He usually does pretty well. What we're trying to do here, and see right there, I wasn't sure if I should have known, I guess, from counting the cars, but I wasn't sure if there was a car between the 11 and the black car up there, because the spotter just won't tell you. If you have a car low and he clears you and then immediately another one comes in, he doesn't tell you. So it's very, very easy to just pull down onto that car and wreck yourself or wreck him or whatever. I don't want to do that, so I ceded the position to the 11. But that's okay. I'm still running the top 5, which honestly is way better than I thought I was going to do here, because this track is tough. And I had a real run on the 11 there. I just didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know if I should shoot low into the corner or what. It's still very early in this run. Take a look down here to the inside into 4 or 3. But it's hard to pass here without using the whole track. You can be fast here, but you need to be able to use the whole track to be fast. So passing here is very, very difficult.
Why's that?
Oh no, I got back to the 20 smacked me before this back. The color of your car, I didn't know what number it was.
One of the big problems I had here was consistency in entry and exit, brake point, etc. I'm not sure why that was. I have a couple of theories, and one is just it's a tough track. And 2, it's the track changes so much, and there I go into the wall. Good job. Especially with the diamond. And this number 2, he must have gotten.
Got one outside.
He wrecked.
You're clear high.
He was really fast. But anyway, as the track kind of rubbers in, and there's a caution. As the track rubbers in and as a line develops, the track changes. And this one seems to change quickly. Also, your tire situation changes quickly here. So it's almost like one lap to the next is never the same. You're never driving the same car from one lap to the next lap, which makes it really hard to get into a rhythm and get kind of a consistent line going, because the car, you're always searching. You're just always searching for that preferred line, where it may be moving to or where it is. It was, which honestly makes it a lot of fun. It's not like a Talladega, which was the last race I did, and that's just hold her to the floor and hope nobody spins out in front of you.
Pit road is now open.
This was the track's changing all the time, your tire situation is changing all the time, you know, lap to lap, and you're constantly changing how you have to drive the race car, and that makes it a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed driving this track in particular. This one and this one in Richmond were really fun to drive, really satisfying, because you felt like you were accomplishing something every lap you went without wrecking the race car. Again, everybody's going to come in for tires. I'm going to come in for tires. And we're going to flash forward and see what happened in that wreck. There goes that 9 again. He is fast. And there, I come out of the pits, and I could have beat the 11, but I also could have hit the 11. And I, you know, in the top 5, I'm not interested in ruining my day on pit road. So here we go. Just the 18 just gets loose off of 4. The real trouble spot on the track. Collects the 15, which is a real shame for the 15, but
Get ready.
These things happen.
All right, man. The pace car is in.
So I'll restart here in 5th position, top 5. And hopefully we can get some sort of long green flag run going, because
Green
here
flag,
we go.
green flag.
Spun the tires a little bit on that one.
Outside.
22 really pinching me down.
All clear, all clear.
That's okay. He looks a little loose. I don't know. I don't know why guys don't give people room. I mean, none of us... You're more likely to wreck yourself and somebody else. But whatever. See if we can't run this 11 down.
Good job, man. You're back in pit.
Ooh. Alright, I'm going to throw you guys to future me, and he's going to tell you all the things I'm doing wrong. Because I need to concentrate. Alright, future John here. And yeah, this guy, past John, really messing everything up. Doing a horrible job. But right now, just in the top 5, trying to track down the 11 car. And pretty happy where I'm at right now. Kind of hoping for a longer green flag run. I feel like these cars are very, very loose on new tires and very easy to overdrive. When I was running in practice, I could run consistent 23.5-second laps, you know, in the first 10 laps of those tires. The problem was after that, I'd really burned the tires up. And so again, this just becomes a game of when do you think that caution flag is going to fly? Should you save? Should you not? This being a longer race, it is 100 laps, which is a lot longer than it was last week. I mean, the actual race was 120 laps on Saturday, so this is almost 100% of the actual race. But so I think maybe it might be worth saving the equipment a little bit and seeing if that long run speed comes in when we start having to back the corners up and really get a run, make our run off the corner instead of in. On fresh tires, you're running hard in, you're breathing the throttle through the middle of the corner and then hard off. Once the tires start to get old, as you can kind of hear now, I'm, well, still hard on the throttle to the first half of the corner, but once the tires wear, you're really getting off the throttle into the corner, and it becomes more short trackish, where you're really letting the nose settle and setting up your exit more than anything else that you can do. Ooh, almost lost her there. And if you stay on the gas right there, you're going to lose it. And I think you've seen a couple of examples, including myself, in my qualifying run. That video in the beginning of this was my qualifying run for this, where I just lost it off of 4. Very, very easy to do. I am starting to close down this 11 car, and I'm also, the guy behind me seems to be getting a little bit closer to me. I watched the race today, and it was a good race. In the end, it was a good race. A good race for the Joe Gibbs Toyota Racing Series, brought to you by Toyota. You know, I'm just getting so sick of seeing the Gibbs guys. I'm sick of seeing everybody else fight for the scraps of what the Gibbs guys have. They have more horsepower. Take it away. Make it even again or whatever, because behind those front 5, behind the 5 Gibbs guys or the 4 Gibbs guys and one affiliated Gibbs guy, there's really good racing. You have the Penske Fords, even the Roush Fords are up there now. The Hendrick Chevrolets, the Childress Chevrolets, and Kyle Larson somehow is putting that piece of junk Ganassi Chevrolet up in the top 5 on a weekly basis now. And that's just probably more a testament to his driving than to the quality of those race cars. But I think behind those Toyotas, you have good racing. And if you were to just take away the advantage you gave them and level off the playing field again, I think you would have a really good product. And I think that's what people are looking for. I can tell you one thing, though. People are not looking for the same team winning every single race of the season, which is what this is becoming. The Gibbs guys have won, what, 6 of the last 7? Or 5 of the last 6? I think 6 of the last 7. And it's just not fun to watch. You know, there was another series called the Trans Am Series, and if you don't remember that, there's a reason. It's because Jack Roush ruined it. It's because Jack Roush and Dorsey Schrader, his driver, won literally every race in a single season. And what do you know? Nobody wanted to watch anymore, and nobody wanted to put sponsorship dollars into vehicles they knew weren't going to win races. So I think if this continues, my fear is what you're going to see is sponsorship starting to back out of your Childress and your Hendricks and the Chevys and the Fords, because why would you spend that money? Why would you bother if you know they're not going to be a front runner? They're not going to be consistently in the conversation for the win. And I think you're playing a dangerous game. I understand Toyota's a big money manufacturer, and I understand they've dumped a lot of money into NASCAR, a lot of money in their development program, and they need to see results. I get that. And it would be bad for NASCAR if Toyota were to pull out and they were to go down to 2 manufacturers, just Chevy and Ford. That wouldn't be good either. But the current situation where Toyota is the winning manufacturer every week and everybody else is fighting for second place or worse, depending on what breaks on the Gibbs cars. I mean, if all 4 Gibbs cars are running well at the end of the race, they're probably going to be all in the top 10. And you're going to be fighting for 3rd or 4th, you know, on back. I don't think it's good for NASCAR, and I don't think it's good for a sport that's really trying to find a sponsor. They're trying to, again, they're still trying to find a sponsor for next year. And you're not going to find one unless you put a good product on the track. And putting a good product on the track means you might have to tell Toyota, hey, sorry guys, we're going to have to take that away from you. And you might not be as wildly successful as you've been over the last 40
right,
races.
Halfway this time.
You know, but I'm about sick of it. Anyway, enough of that. Kyle Larson did make a good race of it. So did Chase Elliott. Those guys going at it, man. Those 2 are the future of the sport. I said it before. I hope Kyle Larson gets into a decent ride. I think he's driving that car way above its potential. I think his talent is starting to mask a lot of the problems, or not problems, just shortcomings that Ganassi Racing has. A lot in the way that Kevin Harvick's talent behind the wheel used to mask a lot of the shortcomings that Childress Racing had. You know, and at the same token, just so you show I'm not just a Chevy guy, I think Carl Edwards and Matt Kenseth used to do the same thing for Jack Roush. And when they left, you really saw, oh, Roush doesn't have anything. Or when Harvick left, you saw, oh, Childress, not that good. And I think now you're starting to see Ganassi seem to be a strong contender over the last few weeks, but I firmly believe that is because of the guy who is wheeling that race car. And I think I've said it before, I think he's the most talented young driver to come into the sport in the last 10 years. And I stand behind that statement. And I think he's making that 42 car look a lot better than it actually should be. But that's my opinion. But he did make a good race out of it. It was nice to see Chase Elliott up there mixing it up. I love seeing the young guys. I also really enjoyed the Busch race, or the Xfinity race, because there's just Joey Logano and I think Paul Menard was in it, and those are the only Cup guys. So we got to see the young kids go at it. And again, they weren't beating and banging because that's not the kind of track it is. But it was fun, and I like seeing the future of the sport on the track. You know, that's a lot of fun. I get it. When we go to Sunday, we know Jimmy Johnson's going to be there, and he had, man, I can't believe that happened. I wonder if he wouldn't have won the race today. If he could have gotten out front with 46 to go going green, he was on the outside starting in first place. He'd have gotten out front, and it was so hard to pass. Clean air was so important. I don't know anybody was going to catch him. So, weird twist of fate or whatever that he had a mechanical failure, which for Hendrick is not all that common, but it lost him the race. Or certainly lost him an opportunity to win the race. And here I am. Look at me. Long run. I've got this 19. I'm going to duck under him here.
Outside.
And I'm going to take the position away.
Still there. You're clear high.
So
Clear
up into
high.
4th place. Doing pretty well. And I feel like this number 11 now is the next target. I know he passed this guy. I was trying to track him down before, but he's better than me early. I'll see if I can be better than him late. And the whole name of the game now, you can hear I'm backing off all the way through the beginning of the corner. Right here, letting off, applying a little brake, and very, very little throttle. Roll to center. And I'm just trying to get a better run off of the corner, get better straightaway speed than that guy has. Gonna back off here because I really thought somebody was spinning because of that smoke, but I think that is a wrecked race car down on the bottom. It's that number 2 again, I believe, who again is, I've raced with him a bunch of times. Normally he's very, very fast. Yeah, I like seeing the kids, the young guys out in Xfinity. And I thought Dover was a great example of why you turn the race on, to watch the future of the sport drive. There was no legitimate Cup guy. Sure, you had Logano in there. He didn't do anything. You had Paul Menard, who, honestly, if he didn't have a guaranteed sponsor of Menards, he probably wouldn't be racing. And they were in the race, but other than that, that was it. And you got to see Eric Jones and Brandon Jones and Daniel Suarez, and Ty Dillon, and all these young guys go at it. It's really, really fun to watch. And man, I wonder if there's going to be enough seats for these guys coming up, because I feel like there's more talent, especially down in that Xfinity series, than there are seats in the Cup series. I wonder where Eric Jones is going to go. You know, Gibbs has Carl Edwards, you know, Matt Kenseth, Kyle Busch, and Denny Hamlin. I mean, none of those guys are really old. None of them are retiring soon. Where's Eric Jones going to go? And it's not like there's a really strong sister team to Gibbs, other than the one thing that may happen that I could see happening now with the alliance with Truex, or with Furniture Row and Gibbs. And I literally just thought of this. Maybe they add a second car and Eric Jones comes into that one. But that's the only thing I can see happening with that guy. But he needs to be in a Cup car. And I think Ty Dillon's probably going to be in a Cup car next year. I would imagine in that 31, or whatever that 31 is going to become. I don't think Ryan Newman, his contract's up this year. I don't think he's driving for Childress next year, which is a shame. I like Ryan Newman. I think He's an engineer. You know, he's somebody you can point to. I have kids, and you can point to him and say to your kids, hey, look, that guy got his engineering degree, and look where he is. He used to go chase his dream. And so I think it'd be unfortunate if Ryan Newman were to fall in the sport, but at the same time, he hasn't exactly produced results for Childress. Granted, he had the 2nd place in the chase a couple years ago, the 11th place last year, but no wins to speak of. And after, I think a lot of people forget Ryan Newman was rookie. Ryan Newman was rookie. Ryan Newman was a rookie the same year Jimmy Johnson was, and I think he won like 7 races, and everybody thought he was going to be the next big thing. And that was the year everybody thought Ryan Newman was going to be the next Dale Earnhardt, the next Jeff Gordon, you know, the next face of the sport, and it ended up being Jimmy Johnson. So it'd be a shame to see Newman fall out of the sport, but I think it's going to happen. I think you're going to see him without a ride next year, and I don't know who would pick him up. I really don't. I mean, maybe one of the smaller teams, but you never know. And now I've run the 11 car now. Look at me go. Flapping my gums about Ryan Newman and Jimmy Johnson, and I've run down this number 11 Mustang to see if I can't try and pass him. And I'm trying to pass on old tires, so in Cup, that means could look like Kyle Larson and sliding it all over the place. In iRacing, luckily, this guy is polite, and I think maybe he's cutting me a break because I cut him a break on pit road earlier, and he's just going to essentially give me the position. He's going to race me a little bit here, but he's not pinching me down. He's going way up to the top line, and I'm trying to keep it down on the bottom. And I appreciate that. That's just, you know, I caught him on the long run. I'm faster right now. I probably have better tires than him because I've been saving him a little more. And he let me go, and that's awesome. So now I'm with the 3rd, which is way faster or way better than I thought I was going to do this race.
You're back in 3rd.
I'm back in 3rd. Says my idiot spotter. When I was in 3rd for like a second before, but either way.
All right, man. Caution is out.
And caution's out.
Line up single file. Pit road is closed. Catch the 18.
So we are definitely going to be coming in for tires, and these front 2 have checked out. They're gone. You know, obviously we're under caution right now. We're trying to catch them.
Catch the 22 car.
But honestly, I was disappointed to see that caution come out. We just passed for 3rd. We were pulling away from 4th place. Maybe we could have closed in on 1st. Who knows? But I don't think even on new tires we were going to be able to catch him anyway. So
22 car by. He had the position when the yellow flag came out.
I don't care.
Catch the 18.
But I feel like I'm not. I've said it before. I'm not as good on the short runs as I should be or as I want to be. I'm not as good really pushing the car, and now we're going to get a 20-lap sprint to the end, and I feel like I'm going to lose some positions. And I feel like I had a 3rd place, you know, a top 3 position locked up when the caution flag came out and changed everything, and that's just racing, which is really what's cool about this game, is you can have something like that happen and have it really affect your day and your race, and that's just fun. I mean, it's fun. You get done with these races and you feel like you did something. You feel a sense of accomplishment because the tracks are difficult and you're racing against other people and things that are out of your control are happening and you're trying to make the most of the situation. And this is a great game. If you're into racing at all, I strongly recommend picking this one up. I'm going to take 4 tires here, and in the interim, we're going to flash forward and see what happened. I'm guessing somebody had problems off of 4.
Line up single file.
And here we go. Too much off of 4. Just overdrove it. Overdrove the exit of 4. At least it didn't take anybody out. And now we are going to have to go green with 20 to go on fresh tires when we've been driving on the same tires for about 50 laps or so. So that
Get
should
ready.
be interesting.
All right, man. The pace car is in.
Here we go. I'm going to suck right up to this 9. I don't know if I want to get super close in case he brake checks. Oh, there he goes.
Green flag, green
Spun him.
flag.
Let the 8 in. Let the 8 in, son of a bitch.
Outside. Stay low. Still there? Hold your line. Still there. You're clear high.
Come
clear
on.
high.
All right, future
Outside.
me here. Past me
All
is getting a
clear,
little
all
wound
clear.
up right now. I'm having a hard time, honestly, because we've been driving on older tires for so long. The line has changed so much for me, and the brake points and how I can get on the throttle has changed, that I'm having a hard time readjusting to new tires, and not everybody is. The other problem I'm having, or the other problem that's coming up, is I don't want to overdrive it. When you overdrive the car, let's take you through a corner. If I come into this corner too hard, I'm going to have to turn the wheel too much to roll the center. Then when I get back on the gas, that's going to snap loose. The car is going to turn right towards the inside wall, and I'm going to wreck. So that's where driving too hard gets you on this track, is into the inside wall really quickly. And so I'm going to let the 11 go. I'm a rhythm guy. I am just not, I'm struggling right now with when I need to be getting on the throttle and when I need to be letting off the throttle, because I don't want to lose the car. I've got a top 5 run going, and I don't want to blow it. I mean, I don't want to ruin that. And I also just don't want to wreck. I mean, nobody wants to wreck. We've driven almost the entire race incident-free, and to wreck right now would just be horrible. So, hoping to let this 11 try and chase the 14 down and maybe burn up some of his stuff. And then once the tires get 10 or 12 laps on them, I'll have, you know, the last 5-6 laps of the race to really try and do something and make up a couple of spots on these guys. But right now, I'm just racing the track. And I was listening to Darrell Waltrip today, and one of the few things he said that I really agree with is when you're at Dover, you're racing the track first. There's other drivers out there, sure, but this track will bite you, and you have to beat the track before you can beat anybody else. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to beat the track and not lose it off of 4, not ruin my so far good outing that I've had. And there you go. And you see the 14 got on it too soon, or was turning too hard out of turn 2 and just lost it down to the inside, up to 4th. Now I'm up to 4th place. I don't want that to be me. And same lap, there goes the 11, right back into 3rd place.
You're back in 4th.
You have to race the racetrack. You cannot overdrive this track. It will bite you. I don't know how the 9 is so fast consistently. He's very, very good. But we're going to try and run them down here with minimal laps to go. One thing I noticed this weekend that I was disappointed with more than the Toyotas winning, which is saying something, was simply I saw a couple of pretty hard hits on the outside wall on the straightaway, which is not a safer barrier. And I'm not one to want to sacrifice speed or competition for safety. I don't like that they don't race back to the yellow flag anymore. And I really don't like they don't race down pit lane anymore. But that being said, you can add a safer barrier. It's not going to take away from anything. It doesn't hurt anything. We saw Jamie McMurray really get into the wall hard, and also in the Xfinity race, Justin Marks, a young kid, just about knocked the front stretch wall down. Both of those guys very, very shaken up, very rattled, and there's no need for that. There's no need to have that concrete wall there. There's no need to be reactive in this. As proactive as NASCAR normally is in safety, I'm surprised they haven't mandated that just all walls at if you own a track, you got to have safer barriers, period. I'm sure that's easier said than done with the way the track deals are. But also, it kind of speaks poorly of Dover, the Speedway. They just finished a multi-million-dollar renovation. And
10 to go.
you know, they took out a bunch of seats and added luxury boxes and did a bunch of stuff to the track to really update it. But one of those things was not add safer barriers to the front stretch and back stretch outside wall. They added them on the turns where you see on the inside down here going in. They added them down there, but not to the actual walls on the outside. So I just got a question, why not? It doesn't make any sense to me, but I don't know. I think after those two really hard hits we saw, you're probably going to see safer barriers the next time or next year at the very least at this time when we come to Dover. Yeah, I was a little disappointed. I don't want to see anybody hurt for something that can be completely preventable that has nothing to do with competition. I know a lot of guys, I heard a lot of complaining after 2 weeks ago at Talladega with all the wrecking, and Matt Kenseth got upside down, Danica Patrick tried to knock the wall down and everything, and people were clamoring for safety for Talladega. I'm not on that train. I thought Talladega was a great race. I wouldn't change a thing. You know, in the end, it's the guys who are wheeling the race cars who have to do it right, and they have to race them. When they wreck, it's their fault. All the walls, you know, when Danica went down to the inside and really hit the wall hard, that was a safer barrier, and she walked away. Yeah, she was shaken up, but she walked away. And just like everybody else did, there were some really colossal hits in that race, and everybody walked away safely, and I thought that was great. I don't want to sacrifice quality of competition for safety. I think, and I'm not saying I want drivers to be hurt, I'm not saying anything like that. What I am trying to say is I think there is a happy medium. There's a way to make the cars safe and the track safe and these races safe without sacrificing what we love about the sport. And you know what? The other thing is, this is dangerous. You know, it's dangerous. You strap yourself into a race car and drive around at 200 miles an hour, something horrible could happen to you. It's part of the risk, and none of these drivers who put a helmet on every Sunday or Saturday night or whatever, none of them are ignorant of that. All of them know what could happen. So I think what NASCAR's done thus far has been great. With a very few exceptions, I would like to see them race back to the yellow flag again. I don't like freezing the field whenever the yellow comes out. But I think for the most part, the safer barriers, the improvements to vehicle safety, the Haas devices, all that stuff have been very, very important advances in the sport, and I'd like to see more of it. But what I don't want to see is knee-jerk reactions. But what I do want to see is safer barriers on these walls at every single track we go to. Because I don't care who you root for or root against, I don't like Kyle Busch. I dislike him intensely. I've made that perfectly clear. However, I did not seeing him break his legs at Daytona is not something I want to see as a fan. It's something that's preventable. It's something that shouldn't happen. And I'm afraid if you had two really hard hits this weekend that could have ended very, very badly. And I just don't want to see anybody get hurt. I know that sounds motherish, but that's just how it is. But here we go. We're going to come across the stripe. 3rd place at Dover. Brand new track for me. First time I've ever run it. Pretty happy. Was not anywhere near as fast as the first 2 cars. Wasn't even in their zip code.
There you go, man.
But
Good
was
job,
very,
driver.
very happy with the result. Next week is the All-Star Weekend for NASCAR. So they will be at Charlotte. These guys, the Xfinity guys, I want to say they have them in Atlanta. I'm not sure what else is going on. So we may do a race, we may not. Either way, this one was a lot of fun. Finished it just happy to be where I was. But I'll try and post something next week, depending on what I can find. If I can find something at Charlotte, I'll do it. If I can't, I'll probably try and post the Xfinity race from Atlanta.
The race is over.
But until then, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. And keep it out of the fence, for crying out loud.
Good race, guys.